Good afternoon. It's 3 p.m. according to my iPhone, so we'll try to get this Community Redevelopment Agency regular scheduled meeting underway. This is Monday, January 26, 2026, and we'll start with roll call. So would the clerk please roll call?
Gerard Patel,
Here.
Ron Whittington,
Here.
Megan Edwards,
Here.
Thad Mosley,
Here.
Kevin Myers,
Here.
Sydney Talcott,
Here.
Marcus Campy.
Here.
Fantastic. Got the whole crew here this afternoon. The first item on our agenda is courtesy of the floor to the visitors. And I have not received any specific cards of anyone addressing the CRA board. So we'll move right on and go through the approval of our meeting minutes. The first item is the December 22nd, 2025 CRA meeting minutes. Are there any comments or changes in reference to those meeting minutes? Not seeing any. I'll call for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes from our last session. Two
Is-
sessions? One session, two sessions? I forget.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the December 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes. Why don't we just do this by voice vote? All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. We have a second set of workshop meeting minutes from January 14th, 2026. And are there any comments or changes to those minutes? I don't see any comments, so again, I'll ask for a motion in reference to the January 14th minutes.
I move we also approve those minutes.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any final thoughts or comments? None. With that, we'll do a voice vote again. All those in favor of approving the January 14th, 2026 minutes, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Those minutes are also approved. Old business. We don't have a specific item under old business, but I'll open it up to Taylor. Do you have anything that you want to address in reference to old business, Taylor?
Mr. Chair, I will leave it at your discretion. I've just got I typed up a council CRA joint workshop notes summary page just to pass out to everyone for reference. I did run this by administration and the other department heads that were at this meeting to make sure my notes were in fact as I remembered, and everyone was in agreement that these notes were good from kind of just where the item stood and what's to happen next. So I'll have those to hand out, as well as upcoming meetings and upcoming events. But if you want, we can go through the new business items, and then after those, I can kind of dive into these a little bit, if that's all right with everyone.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be
Perfect.
fine. In reference to, that's all we have in the way of old business then this afternoon. Does anybody else on the board have anything from an old business standpoint that they'd like to bring up? I don't see any. I've got a couple of comments, but I think I'm going to reserve those for items for discussion, just because I'm not sure if they fall into old or new or exactly where they fall, but we'll address them as part of the items for discussion. Moving on to the next item of the agenda is new business, and we have two specific items under new business. One is resolution number 2026-04, which is an increase in the downtown Cape pay plan for the police department.
Yes, sir.
Taylor, if you'd like to address that for the board, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. The only reason this is coming to you now is the FOP negotiations weren't complete at the time of us adopting the budget, so that's why we're having to modify. We will be appropriating these funds out of reserves, so no other planned projects or expenditures are impacted from this modification. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And I know the CFO is probably listening in, so if your questions are too technical for me to answer, I am certain Ashley will send me a message or pop down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, I'll open this up for discussion by the board. Are there any comments from any board members? I'd just like to take the moment and say that this is definitely well-deserved for the police department. They do an extraordinary job for us down in the downtown area, Cape, if not, and also the rest of the city. But obviously, this is focused specifically on the CRA, and I greatly appreciate what they're doing. Myself and Mr. Whittington here are doing what's called CPA, Citizens Police Academy, this session, and I'll tell you, it's an eye opener, and to understand what the police department has to deal with, everything from the patrols on a daily basis to report writing to the investigations to the fact that you've got a large group of people, staff of almost 100 people that need to be managed on a day-to-day basis. What they do is incredible for the city, and I wholeheartedly support this resolution. And again, I thank the police department for all of their efforts and what they do for the city. Thank you. Deb?
Just wanted to mention that the chief has stated at various council meetings and workshops that these funds in toto allow him to remain competitive and to staff his forces fully. And that's pretty important because there's overall a shortage, in the largest sense, a shortage of qualified officers to meet today's combination of demands. And if Chief says he's got what he needs to do it, then I think that's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
Any further comments from any board members? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
Motion to approve resolution number 2026-4.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any final comments or thoughts from anybody? With that, let us go ahead and just do a roll call vote. If the clerk would do that for us, please.
Ron Whittington,
Yes.
Megan Edwards,
Yes.
Thad Mosley,
Yes.
Kevin Myers,
Yes.
Gerard Paytown.
Yes. Resolution passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the continuation of services for the Southern Group. And I think I'll just turn this over to you, Taylor, and let you address it, unless Jim wants to come up here and do a song and dance for us.
I am certain if I forget something, I will happily pass the mic over to Jim or Brenna. So this is, quite frankly, just to continue what Jim and the Southern Group have been providing the agency even before my time here. They continue to help us just with support. You know, we're a department of one full-time employee, so having their help has been great. It's a great asset for just me every day. Another thing you'll notice, a lot of the scope of work is pretty similar to what we've had historically. On the last two bullet points, this was something we added this year, and not that they weren't already doing this, we just wanted to put it in writing. They are a huge help for me following the legislative activity that affects CRAs and TIF or any type of redevelopment authority. Last year in particular, when there was a pretty big attack on CREs statewide. They were a huge asset to helping me kind of keep things in track and understanding where those bills were. And fortunately, this year there's nothing too crazy coming at CRAs for now. But again, just even on some of the bills that affect us, you know, just as a city, they're tremendous asset in helping me kind of keep track of that. So I've got Jim here, we've got Brenna here. I'm sure they can answer any specific questions you might have. And the reason this one looks a little different with the wording, the requested action is requesting the board to approve the scope of services, which is what is attached, and then for the effective date, retroactive to December 1. December got the best of all of us, and we were a little late getting this before you, so we apologize for that. And then this will expire at the end of the fiscal year, and then we will set this up to continue to renew, and we'll continue to bring that back to you guys before January next time.
Any comments from the board? Dan?
Thank you, Taylor. I certainly agree with everything you said, and I think it's also worth noting that the Southern Group services being available to the CRA also are tangentially available to the larger city of Jacksonville Beach government, which is very important as far as catching flags and signals and trends and shifts and drifts. So, thank you.
Any other comments? I'd just like to, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm on. Sorry. Has it been a year already? That's what I was going to say. See if we can just do this.
Just a quick comment. You know, looking at the scope of work, it specifically focuses on the P3 project, and obviously that is one of our main efforts for this next year. And I see where Jim could help us tremendously in that area and making sure that we move that along and finally get that out on the street and then go through this, hopefully the selection process. So, you know, I think that alone speaks to the value that Jim will bring to the team this next year. So thank you. And do we need to do a formal approval on this? That's
Yes, sir. If we could, yeah, a motion, a second, and then just a roll call for the record.
Okay. So with that, the chair will entertain a motion on this specific item.
I'll move that we renew the contract with the Southern Group. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does that motion cover what you need? A continuation of services?
It does, if we can just have the clerk do a roll call, just so we can have it on the record.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the motion itself, the way it was stated, was
Yep, to continue.
okay.
Thank you.
Any final comments from the board? None. With that, clerk, roll call, please.
Megan Edwards,
Yes.
Thad Mosley,
Yes.
Kevin Myers,
Yes.
Ron Whittington,
Yes.
Gerard Paytown.
Yes. With that, it passes. Jim, thank you. You're going to be.
Because of what you're doing, because I live at the beach as well, so it's important. Well, because I live at the beach and it's important. So that is true.
Just keep things moving for us.
Yeah.
Keep them moving.
So, Taylor, do you want to touch on a couple of
Yeah,
items?
please. So, Jody, thank you for helping me organize and hand these out. If you'll look at the page that is the council CRA joint workshop notes, I'm not going to read everything word for word. If you guys read this and at some point have a question, please feel free to reach out. A couple of the bigger ones I did want to touch on. The downtown enhancements, fence screening, and code enforcement. There was a little bit of, maybe a little bit of a divide on certain council people were very supportive of fence screening and providing a grant. Some were supportive of fence screening on the fence about a grant, and some were not for it at all. So we're working with our legal department right now to kind of figure out, number one, what is going to need to change, how we would need to require this. Is it an ordinance? What does that look like? We also heard from council that the code enforcement issue, they kind of bounced back to CRA and said for us to discuss and bring forward some recommendations. I had a very brief 90-second conversation today with our code enforcement officer, and what I'm planning to do once Heather is back in office is sit down with code enforcement, Heather, myself, and probably the building official, because code enforcement is under the building department, and just kind of talk through some of the things that she sees and some of the feedback that I've heard just over the years being here, kind of get a game plan there of some more technical recommendations, and then essentially dedicate a good chunk of a workshop to really kind of hashing this out, and then also likely bringing code enforcement to that workshop as well. No one can answer the technical questions as well as she can. On the P3 project update, at some point, probably February or March, we will be entertaining and voting on nominating a board member to serve on the review committee. Something that when I was listening back to the minutes, the mayor and council agreed upon was saying the role of the CRA will be to look through the lens of our plan and the focus of economic development. And then once we get that timeline kind of more fleshed out and finalized and get that through everyone's approval level, that will be likely when council and the agency would both make nominations for the review committee. We will be doing a kind of new version of monthly update and reports on projects that we'll give to you guys at the regular meeting, and probably just to keep everything consistent, I'll probably send it out to council the same day as our meeting so that way they're getting it as well. And I am planning to include public works projects in that and private development updates when appropriate. I did reach out to the consultants on the LSV lot. I know a big thing we heard was more accessible spaces, and the number that kind of came out of that consensus was 6. The consultants have already emailed me back and said that's no issue, so they can get in there and make that change before we move into construction documents. Another budget modification you will likely be seeing in the next few months will be amending the budget to go ahead and bump that project up into this fiscal year, so that should be coming. And then, let's see, again, another conversation we had at the briefing was just kind of about our timelines and projects. As you kind of start working through some of these, you realize what works and what doesn't. Going forward, we'll be adding tighter timelines on the beginning of our projects that give us a little more teeth when enforcing deadlines. And then something that's worked really well for these larger projects are these incentives that we put on this 900-day project for public works. It's looking like they're going to finish substantially ahead of schedule, and a lot of that's due to the incentives. So those may be some things that we start discussing. First Street project, once we get the TPO traffic study data, we will meet internally and then kind of take all of that data and information and bring an update to the council and the CRA. And then the urban trails staff is going to take some time to go back to that overall site plan, pull out the segments that are in both districts, and then that will likely take up a big chunk of a future workshop for the CRA to kind of start talking through that as well. So that will probably be, I'm guessing, March timeframe. We'll start diving into that. Before I jump into meetings and events, any questions or feedback or comments or anything on my notes? I'm happy to.
Are there any comments from the board? I think all of us are trying to digest all this information still, so you're going to have to give us a little bit
I had
of
to type notes to get it just out of my head and out of my notepad onto a piece of paper just to kind of give myself a to-do list, so I understand.
Yeah. Personally, I think it seems to cover everything that was talked about in the meeting, and does it very well. I really want to thank everyone, council, board, staff, on what I thought was a very good meeting.
Great.
One that seemed to solicit a lot of conversation, but good conversation that started out with one idea, but maybe morphed into something a little bit more in a different idea. But it all brought us together and took us in a direction. I think that's going to be very positive for this year. The one thing maybe that I don't know whether it's in your minutes or not, but we did talk about another potential meeting in June of the council CRA meeting in June of this year. So, I hope that we can progress a lot of things and really have a similar kind of conversation when we get together in June.
And I expect sometime in the next few months, you'll either get an email from myself or from Lauren in administration, just with a poll of what days work better as we start kind of looking out on the calendar. And summer always tends to get a little crazy for everyone, so trying to find a date that works for 14 isn't always the easiest. So we will probably in the spring go ahead and start sending those dates out just to get on everyone's calendar. So stay on the lookout for that.
Great.
Yeah.
Any comments, Thad? Go ahead.
Yeah, the notes are great, and I think that the project update that you presented really was very enlightening to the group at large, and I think their awareness of the status on the projects on a regular basis has a lot to do with their support for our activities. So thank you.
Not to put you on the spot, just a quick question. Do you think on the boardwalk activation, given what you've got to go through, do you think that might be able to be launched in spring or summer?
So it's on the February 9th council briefing. And my plan, I've got an internal meeting with administration and I believe legal to go over the last minute tweaks to that ordinance. It very well could be on the March, right? If they look at it, I could get it on a March agenda and it would be 2 readings for an ordinance. So, I mean,
So by summer.
if there's no bumps,
If
it
there's no
could be
bumps.
spring. But I would say play it safe, maybe April, May.
And I can look this up later, but just for point of clarification, what is a busker?
Those are the street performers that kind of stand with their guitar case open and just strum
Okay.
and sing.
A busker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
A bus was basically somebody asking for money to do something.
That's fair. Yeah, that's great. Great point. Juggling. Yeah.
Juggling.
Anything.
Cat juggling.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any further comments about the workshop notes at this point? I don't see any. Is there anything further, Taylor, that you want to talk about in reference to the upcoming meeting?
Just that I will not read everyone the upcoming events, but you do have an upcoming event sheet. Donna Marathon weekend is upon us, so that'll be very, very exciting for everyone. And then there you go. Our next meeting will be our regular meeting in February. At this stage right now, I would love to tell you that I could have all these great items prepared for a workshop in basically a week. It's not going to happen. So we will defer workshop items for our March workshop, which will be March the 11th. And then we'll have our regular meeting March the 23rd. Like I said, council briefing February 9th. It's going to talk about boardwalk activation ordinance. So I will take that one. This isn't a CRA project. It just may be interesting. The senior planner has been working with the transportation planning organization on mobility projects and looking at just different mobility projects throughout the city as a whole. So that is something that he, I believe, is discussing at the briefing on the 9th as well. The 23rd will be a special briefing on stormwater rates. And if you'll note there, the start time on that one is 5 p.m. So it starts 30 minutes earlier than most. And then at the March 2nd briefing, that's another special briefing to provide council the audit report from finance. And then right now, upcoming regular meetings, February the 17th council meeting, they are tentatively reviewing and approving the brand standards for citywide signage. So that's kind of been what we've been waiting on to get that standard in place to then kind of see how we kind of tail off of that into our signs for downtown. So again, just for information. And the first meeting in March, the CFO will bring the annual financial report and financial statements for fiscal year 25. And those will be the same documents that will be discussed at the special briefing 30 minutes prior. And I think that's all I got.
I'm sorry, in reference to March 2nd, is that fiscal year 2025? That not 26?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Gary,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be absent on February the 23rd and March the 11th. I'm traveling outbound on the 23rd and traveling inbound back on the 11th.
Okay.
I'm gonna break my record.
I will, I think I've done this with someone else before. I think maybe Kevin, when you had to miss something. I will make sure the agenda packet goes out to you as soon as it's complete. And any comments or feedback you may have, you can put in writing and send to me. So obviously, I can't vote for you, but if there's anything on there that you want to provide feedback on, I can then give the group your comments.
Thank you, Taylor. I pretty much enjoy being here whenever I can, and so far that's been every time. But
Yep.
senior management at my house dictated a massive trip. I'll tell you all
It's
about
all
when I come back.
Yep.
One other comment I have real quick is on the 23rd of February in our regular meeting, Public Works is going to do an update based on the comments that Dennis made in the joint session that we had.
Potentially, I don't have it listed on here because it is not a confirmed agenda item yet. I know Director Barron had to see if he was available that day. If he is not, then I will see if he's available at the March 11th workshop and dedicate the first time of the workshop to his updates. But
Yeah.
yes, if he is available,
It'd be interesting to specifically hear about where we stand with the 90-day project. And, my understanding is they're basically complete now, but there's still some activities going on. Question is, what happens with the bonus that was associated with that contract? And where do we stand with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Got it. But yeah, as soon as I have confirmation that that date works, I'll let everyone know. But it will be at one of our upcoming meetings.
Okay. Any further comments from anyone on the board? No. Do you have anything else for items for discussion?
I do not. I think I'm still digesting all the meetings we've had this month, trying to get everything straightened out. So
I have a couple of quick ones that I'd like to just touch on. With the Donna Marathon coming, I guess it's this weekend already. Wow. It's hard to believe we're into February already. But anyways, I'm just wondered if we could get somebody out and clean up that site between Lynch's and V's that is just kind of trashed. It's the one spot where everybody's going to be running past. Even if we just get out there and pick up all the trash, cut the grass, pick up the broken boards, fix the utility installation pods that are out there and things, it would just make a whole different impression for the city than what's out there right now. It's just a real eyesore. We've got the landscape company out there doing some work right now. Can they send a guy over there? It's not going to take more than an hour to do this, to send somebody over there and just clean that site up a little bit. I think it would make a significant improvement.
yeah, are you? And just because I want to make sure I fully understand, are we talking about the actual parcel or just the alley portion?
No, what I'm talking about is the property line that's parallel to First Street between Lynch's
where
and
Southern
V.
Grounds was going to go?
Yeah, I guess that's where Southern Grounds is going.
So I will see what can be done because it is private property. We can't just send our crews onto private property to do maintenance.
Well, maybe I just need to go out there at night then and do it myself and get it. I mean,
I didn't
it's
hear
just,
that, but no, just kidding.
but to just to get it cleaned up,
Fully. Let me see what we can do. I'll reach out to the property owners. I'll reach out to parks and then talk to administration and see if we can offer something to get done. I wish it was a simple, yeah, we'll get out there today, but just because it is privately owned, it's a little bit of a trickier situation.
I understand your point.
But I will, as soon as we're done, when I get back to my desk, I'll start reaching out and see what we can do.
I mean, it's just been trash that's been blown out onto that property now, and anyways, if you look at it, you'll understand exactly what I'm referring to.
Understand.
along those lines, there's a, and I don't know that anything can be done, but there's a significant pavement issue in First Street at, where is it? It's, Third Avenue North and First Street. There's a stormwater inlet. It's one that we've talked about in the past. Again, it's, deteriorating badly to the point where there's a real trip hazard there around that item, around that, inlet, to the point, and it's in the middle of the road. So if we've got a bunch of people that are running, I've got some real concern that somebody may potentially trip and fall in that location. It's deteriorated before, and Public Works went out there and fixed it, and it's deteriorated greatly again in the last few months. And again, because of it being a real trip hazard, I know it's a little bit late in the stages of things, but I just wanted to make everybody aware of that. As the landscape crew goes through and does all of the new stone mulching that they're doing, will they be going back and addressing Beach Boulevard also? Because there it's that fine crushed material that was what we did initially,
Yep.
and then stopped and went in a little different direction. Are we going back?
I'm gonna look at my email. I think I literally approved the Beach Boulevard invoice today. No, sorry, that was a different corridor. Yes, they will be. I will talk to Trevor and get an ETA on an exact date.
Okay. Because there's a lot of that stuff that just keeps flowing into the street and so forth, and then using the materials that we are now using, I think it's going to help prevent that.
Okay.
One of the things I'd also like to suggest, Taylor, is that with the art committee, that we take some of the funds, not take, but use some of the funds from the art committee and get the Jack's Beach signs repainted, the one that's at the pier and the one that's at Beach and 3rd Street. They all need, they've deteriorated over the years, and it would be nice to really dress those up and repaint them so that they're a lot more colorful than what they are now, because they've pretty much bleached out from the sun and so forth.
Okay.
And then the last item that I have is one of the things I'd like to put into maybe our, it looks like it'd be the March workshop, would be a discussion about capital projects in the South End. I'd like to have the board have a conversation in reference to discussing those potential capital projects in that area.
The dumpsters are still lined up on the sidewalk on First Street.
I'm sorry, that's all I have.
Your dumpsters are still lined up 3 abreast, totally blocking the sidewalk on First Street in front of the hotel this afternoon. The dumpsters that you comment on being in the street, well, they got the sidewalk totally blocked. And I don't know if they're out there all the time or.
Which hotel?
They're out there several times during the week when garbage gets picked up, they push them out there and they sit there for a while. Then they.
Spring Hill?
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Spring Hill?
Yeah, Spring Hill.
3 abreast as of
There's
2:45
usually,
this afternoon.
yeah, there were 4 of them sitting out there this afternoon and blocking the sidewalk and stuff. And then they sit there all day. It's a conversation that we need to have about that.
It'd be nice when they get dumped, at least that they roll them back in, but they don't. They just sit there for any number of hours.
That's right.
Okay. I'm texting about that right now.
Anybody else have any comments, thoughts that they'd like to express? None? With that, I guess we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is adjournment. That's the biggest item on my agenda. I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
A motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? No second?
Second.
All right, let's-
Second.
I'm sorry, we do have a second. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.